So I cannot believe that it is almost 4 years since I started this small business because it feels like just yesterday that I was printing out stickers in my room and putting it up on Etsy. So today I'm gonna have kind of like a chill chit chat of what it's like to start a business in your 20s, and I'm gonna be doing that while drawing because that's what small business owners do. They multitask. Okay, so one thing that a lot of people don't really talk about or tell you is that in a small business you have to do everything. There's not like a guidebook or a checklist of things that you have to do or should know before starting a small business. And I think it's because, things are always changing. Like a few years ago, we didn't have TikTok, but nowadays small businesses thrive off of TikTok. And that's to say that the world is always changing and there's always new things to learn. So you have to learn a little bit of everything. You have to learn how to market yourself and advocate for your brand. You have to be your own customer service. You have to understand logistics and how to be profitable. And you have to be your own photographer and learn how to edit videos and photos. And the list kind of just goes on and on. There's a never-ending list of things that you have to learn. It does get easier and more routine the more you do it. But I remember being super overwhelmed when I first started because I didn't know that I have to learn all these different skill sets from the get-go. Again, practice makes perfect. You just have to learn a little bit of everything, and soon enough, you will be a master of it all. The next thing that I want to talk about is how you have to be kind of your own cheerleader and your biggest motivator, because at the end of the day, if you want your business to succeed, you have to be your biggest motivator. And that's because everything relies on you. Your wins, your losses, it's all on yourself. And it's not like you're working for a company where you have a boss that you meet weekly that tells you that you're doing a good job. When you're working solo in your business, it's your job to tell yourself that you're doing a good job. And that might be hard for some people who, may not be used to validating themselves. But what works for me is understanding at the core why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I'm continuing to do it. At the bottom line, it's because I love to make art and I love to spread art. And I think once you find what your why is, I think that would be the biggest motivator in why you're continuing to run your small business. And one thing that I heard from somebody is that your biggest motivator shouldn't be about the money, because you won't get far from doing that. Because there will be, days or seasons where you might not get a lot of sales, but that's just the nature of running a small business, and if that is your biggest reason, then it might be hard to continue to go on because you're relying your happiness and your motivation to keep going off of money that may not be controllable. So the next thing that I want to talk about is how when you're running a small business, you have to give 110% of your time and effort to your small business. I feel like when people think about running a small business, being your own boss, having your own hours, they see someone kind of just watching TV in the middle of the day or going out in the middle of the day when everyone else is working. And sure, that may be the pros of having your own hours and being your own boss. However, if you want to be successful in your business, then you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work and you have to treat it as if it's your full-time job. There is flexibility in it may not be your typical 9 to 5. However, you still have to put in some hours if you want to be successful. And you may even have to have some sacrifices of your time to make it work. I feel like there's definitely some weekends where I feel like I missed out on hanging out with people because I had a pop-up event, or having to work late because I had a project that I wanted to finish, or that like I'm talking to manufacturers overseas, so then I would have to stay up and like talk to them rather than talking to them just once a day instead of communicating with them when they're asleep. And like I said before, there are so many skill sets that are needed to learn, and so you would have to put in the time and effort in learning that. So at the end of the day, running a small business is like no joke, and I think you really have to think about whether you want this badly enough and if you're willing to sacrifice some time and effort for it to be successful. And another thing that I feel like is not talked about often when it comes to small businesses and starting it or continuing it is how much failure it comes with it. And it's something that I feel like not a lot of people talk about because like no one wants to show that they failed, you know? It's not glamorous to show failure. We always just want to see success. And with a successful like a reel or a TikTok, it encourages people to start, but no one really talks about kind of just the failures and the mistakes that are made from starting a small business. Like I mentioned before, there's so many learning curves to being a small business owner that I feel like you're bound to make a mistake, and that's okay. You kind of just have to pick yourself up, learn from it, and then move on. Can't let one or two measly mistakes be the deciding factor of whether you quit or not, because everybody makes mistakes. I feel like all the big companies make mistakes and they have not quit, and they've become these big corporations and everything. Again, just don't let these mistakes be the reason why you quit. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is how when you're starting a small business, you're gonna have that feeling of like you're constantly being judged or teased, and that's just a normal feeling because running a small business is a non-traditional route to take. I think the traditional route to take is, you know, going to college and then joining a company. It's not you starting a company. I feel like being a shyer person, it's so scary to go online and put yourself out there because everything is just so freaking public, and you're scared that your friends and family will kind of just judge you. But maybe in reality, it's that no one's really talking behind your back, and unfortunately you're not the main character, and all the voices in your head is just your insecurities, because the fact is no one has told me to my face that, you know, my products suck, I'm gonna fail at my small business, or they're just joking around about my content and putting myself out there. Fact is actually I've been greeted with nothing but positive encouragement from my friends and family. So I'm gonna take that as is over all the negative comments that I think people are saying about me. And they do say that, you know, the most successful people don't judge or make fun of other people who are trying their best with their small business. The people who do judge you are those that wish they were brave enough to be in your shoes. And so those are kind of the 5 truths of what it's like to be starting a small business in your 20s. And so I am done with this matcha theme sticker sheet, and here it is. I think I'm going to be starting to put this on my Etsy shop, and I'll try to sell it at my next pop-up event, but this is the final look. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and learning more about what it's like to be a small business owner in your 20s. And until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to more videos like this.